Welcome to episode 32 with Joshua Martin, the co-owner of the Core, which is the gym here in Sarasota, Florida. Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, bud. I've been
Absolutely.
excited for this.
I can't wait. Got a cool story.
Right on.
Taking it way back, where did it all begin for you?
Man, as far as the fitness journey, I guess like early kid, I think all of us like enjoyed some sort of physical activity, like whether it be playing outside, what have you, sports as a young one. Like my favorite two hobbies from the earliest age I remember being active were probably playing soccer as a young kid and playing frisbee at the beach, and like that really never left me. Growing up in school, like favorite parts of school were gym class and recess. I know some kids like the art school, some people like the history. It was always just the activity for me, like the physical activity and like just hit the ground running, man.
You were always active then.
Always active, yeah, yeah, need it.
Then how did you get into the yoga side and the weightlifting side?
Yeah, yeah. So like when I was growing up, like I always wanted to play sports, but also like do all I could to get better at sports. And like my older brother was someone to look up to in that, 6 years older than me. We grew up with kind of with the same structure, and like I was his mini me, and as far as like appearance and like attitude goes. But like my dad was always fit, and my oldest brother was always fit. And kind of going through the modes of asking them like, well, what do you do to maintain? What do you do to get better? And my dad was real big on, and I know the research has changed over the years, but like I did all body weight and calisthenics like as a early preteen and teenager, and I didn't start lifting weights maybe. I mean, there was a conditioning class in high school where we started to pump some iron, but like I wasn't as proficient back then as I wanted to be. So like I really kept with the body weight, kept with the push-ups, the body weight squats, the pull-ups, and the dips. And then after I graduated high school, I grew up in Ohio. I moved down to Florida when I was 19 and started working at the YMCA. That's where I first met you back in the day. Yeah, yeah. So started lifting weights. It was called a fitness trainer. And then through that, like a year after being at the YMCA, I got my first certification in being a personal trainer. And that's when the weight world kind of opened up to me. And like I realized like kind of the gains that you could make, kind of the strength that you could get from that. And I was really glad that I stayed at the beginning, early stages with my kind of my own body weight. Because like I think too many people like kind of dive in heavy and be like, oh, I want to get this all right now. Let me lift the heaviest weight I can and fuck the form, you know. And that's
Yeah.
like once I controlled my body really well, I could really implement the weights and bring that into my life. And I was really glad that I built with that structure. And that's why I try to share with everyone else too, to kind of understand your own body weight a little bit more and how to use your body in the best of ways, and then think about adding that external weight. And that's kind of how my story went. Like I started adding the weight, and since then, man, like I think you can attest, like being a trainer, wanting to be able to talk about different things and different modalities with your clients. Like I tried everything under the sun. Like I was CrossFit for a few years when it first hit the ground. You know, I've done like HIIT training, I've done beach boot camp workouts, and like I've done like endurance training, I've done like dieting and exercise programs, just well rounded, so I could firsthand kind of feel within myself what that does for me, and then I could share that with my clients over the years. And you find your niche. You know, I mean, you find
Yeah.
out what works for you, and it's been a fun ride.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
I remember back in the day, I'd always see you at Crunch, and
yeah,
this guy would always be doing crazy stuff
yeah,
with,
yeah,
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 like the handstands
yeah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah.
crazy stuff.
Uh-huh.
And it reminds me because most of the guys there were doing, like you said, just lifting as heavy as
Yeah, that
possible.
bro dude stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, and I was over there, doing the same thing,
yeah,
and you'd be over in the grassy area,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the turf,
Yep.
and just being controlled and intentional,
Yeah,
and it was cool to see you just doing your thing.
yeah,
And you're right to have that foundation,
yep,
to build that foundation with control,
yep.
body weight, and then to then experience different modalities to relate and have that knowledge and experience for clients. Like
100%.
you're very well rounded for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So then, what brought you to Florida when you came to
Man,
19?
so like I was born in Ohio. I always joke and say that Ohio is a great place to be from. It was great growing up there
That's
and
funny.
really nice people, but in my opinion, not much to keep you there.
Ah,
Before I was born, my parents used to live down in Sarasota, and my oldest brother was born, and he lived for his first 2, 3 years down here with my parents. and then they had a second child. And when their family started to grow, they wanted to move back home closer to like the rest of the family and like kind of breed up there. And so I was born in Ohio, but all of our early vacations and free time were spent down here in Florida. And again, like going back to like between 5 and 10 years old, I remember it was one Easter holiday. We came down to Florida, and I was asking my mom, I was like, are all these people down here on vacation? You know what I mean? Like not understanding it, you know? And she's like, well, no, honey, like some people live here. And, you know, like, and I was like, wait. People live here and they vacation elsewhere? And she's like, well, yeah, of course. And I'm like, what are we doing? You know, I didn't understand why we're in Ohio, just like it's gray skies for like 8 months. So I knew from an early age that like as soon as I could, I was going to boogie down here. And it was like a year and a half after high school. I saved some cash and I knew the area, but not anybody. And I just booked it down here. Yeah, and it's been a good home base ever since.
That's amazing.
So almost, like 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it really puts it in perspective that how lucky we are to live here.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, we take it for granted.
Right, yeah, we live where everyone vacations.
Yeah.
Spring break, summer, even winter.
Absolutely.
For sure. So you moved here at 19, and then you kind of started getting traction, meeting people, all of that.
Yeah.
Dove into the fitness industry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I'm curious, deep question, kind
Yeah.
of relevant. Along your journey, what would you say is the most powerful experience that shaped your belief in what you could achieve?
Man. So I think like no matter what your profession, like I think you have like maybe some doubts or worries that you're like proficient enough to like kind of, I don't even want to say like an imposter mentality or whatever, but like you're just like, oh, like you see other people doing the same and you see their accolades and you see where they've gotten to and you're like, oh, will I ever? I will never like get to that plateau or what have you. And there was this one gentleman at the gym. Like I said, I was like 19 or 20. I think he was like mid to late 20s, and he was that diesel. You know, his name was Craig, and like I thought he was the best trainer there. You know, I thought he was the best trainer because like he looked the best, and like he had the most clients, and he was just like always to the grindstone and all the things. And I talked to him one day, and I was like, "Yo, man," I was like, how can I get better? You know, how can I like usher myself into this? And he said something that like changed my focus or changed my mentality. And he was like, Josh, he's like, I got to tell you, man, like there's a lot of different type of trainers. There's a lot of different type of people, clients that need a specific trainer. And there's a trainer for every client. And he's like, what you have, saying to me, he's like, you have something that I don't and will never have. He's like, it comes down to knowing how to work out. He's like, everyone has a different strategy when it comes to their form of training, but you got to know how to work out. But more than anything, you just got to know how to talk to people. And he's like, he admitted that he struggles with that aspect. So he said that I was only going to get better from my building my repertoire with like how many offerings I can make as far as like the training goes, but my ability to like meet people at their level and converse with them and connect with them. He said that's something that's kind of like going to push me over the edge. And once he said that, I was like, oh, I am kind of good at that, you know. I mean, so that set me at ease, but also just like springboarded me, like confidence-wise, to be like, oh, this is my jam. Like I am going to do well at this. So it was like an eye-opening thing. Yeah.
Your ability to connect with people.
100%.
This comes naturally for you.
Yeah.
That's true. That's hard for majority of people. Like it's definitely a gift.
Sure. Yeah, and I realized that. Like I realized that early, and I've gotten better at it over the years because I don't know. I'm a weird egg. Like I'm introverted by nature. But if you put me in the situation, like I will bloom or blossom. You know what I mean? I may not sign up to be there in those instances very often, but if I'm in that situation, like I'm very natural and great at it. So it's just, yeah, it's a weird mix.
That makes sense. I like the way you've always done your own thing.
100%.
You don't care about trends. You don't care about jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
You just follow your own heart and do your own thing.
Yeah, and that is true to the core. Like I remember my dad, like again, like as a young kid, my dad would introduce me to people, and he would be like, no matter what age I was, whether I was 14 and so on, like he'd be like, yeah, this is our youngest, this is Joshua, you know, like he's pretty much, he's had it figured out, and he's been that person since he was like 5 years old. And like I've never really, I mean, obviously I've changed, mostly physically. But but like he said, he's kind of had it figured out since he was like really, really young, and I had, you know, I feel like it anyway.
The same like personality, same mindset.
Same personality, like the intelligence and like the empathy and just like different things that like just take people a long time to discover or to trust. Like I kind of just had that like path laid out for me, and it's been like I mean, I hate to say smooth sailing, but because like I know we might get into this, but like one of the big things that really it doesn't grind my gears, but it like makes me scratch my head. Like everybody says that like to get to where you want to go in life, like it requires struggle, you know, and it does. And like you have to work hard to get where you want to go. But like I don't know, I never think just because you're working hard doesn't mean it has to be hard. You know what I mean? Like I've never had a
True.
hard day or a bad day in my life.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like if I lay it all out on paper and I lay out the timeline, people might look from the outside in, look at it and be like, "What are you talking about, Joshua? Like that was a shitty ass day. Like you had this happen to you, had this happen to you a year later, and blah blah blah." It's not bad, you know. Like none of it was hard. It's just experience, and I was glad to have it and glad to move through it. And it's just I think all about that mentality. So when people say like, "Oh, it sucks for you right now," but like you got to go through that, you got to go through that to get to the other side. Like, nah, man, I've always been on that other side. You know,
Man.
it's all mental. But
Wow, that is powerful. No,
yeah,
really, that's such
yeah,
an amazing mindset.
yeah.
And would you say that I agree how you don't have to necessarily um, choose a path that sucks. That's you not following your heart.
100%. Yeah. As long as you're sticking true and really knowing inside yourself, not only what you want, but like what makes you happy, then like everything else is to the wayside. Like what else matters other than that? So like stop
Man,
trying to appease the people around you. Stop trying to compare yourself to the people around you. Just like really find your lane and just have gratitude for finding it, you know?
wow,
Hmm.
that's so true. Because I tried so many different career paths. I tried like financial services and like
Yeah.
I'm terrible in math, terrible in numbers,
Yeah.
and I hated every bit of it. But I like
Yeah.
the idea.
Yeah.
And then even with our small business we had, I just liked the idea of it. But
Yeah.
it was like a struggle. It was like pushing like a boulder uphill.
Totally. Yeah.
And so it sounds like you're so good at following your heart, like you're so
Mm.
self-aware
Yeah.
that the it's not that there's not challenges, but it's just there are challenges that you're supposed to have. So
100%,
so it kind of
man. Yeah, I
flows.
would always wear it like a badge, you know, like that,
Man,
like counterculture, like that own path kind of thing. Like once I realized that I was different in that, I was like, oh, this is nice over here. You know what I mean? So,
man,
yeah, yeah,
that's such a cool way that you put things. It seems like the older I get, and I'm curious to hear what you think about this.
yeah.
I feel like everyone's designed like created for their own path because
Mm-hmm.
people
Mm-hmm.
are so inherently
100%.
different.
Yeah. What else would it be if it wasn't your own path for you? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And like so often, man, like, I mean, I don't know. I hated school. I was that kid. I was a bright kid that never applied myself. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And like, especially when I got to high school, and I hate to say it, but when I got to high school, I was like, none of this shit really matters. You know what I mean? Like, I know we all think that, but like, as an adult now, more or less, I can say that like, I don't think really much of that matters. You know, the social interaction matters, like being able to like follow some direction and be like not a complete menace. You know, like that stuff's important.
Yeah.
But like, even after school, like having my first 9 months traveling in the world, which we'll get to later, like I learned more life skills in that 9 months traveling than I did like my whole school like career. You
Wow.
know what I mean? So like the whole like graduate high school, get the house with the picket fence, go to school, get married, have kids, like that's just what they say. You know what I mean? But I mean, going down the darker path, I think they say that just to kind of keep you like a little minion and like kind of in their path. And when I
Yeah.
say they, I won't get into that. But like,
I know what you
like
mean
I
though.
was always like anti that stuff. You know, I'm as a person, I've never believed anything just because someone told me to believe it. You know, I mean, it really had to be in here and in here first, and they might influence me to make myself think outside the box and like entertain those ideas. But like, just because someone told me something, I almost would go the other way.
I
I'd like
see.
play the devil's advocate, and I'm like, well,
Ah,
what about the other side of that? Why are they telling me that? Why do they want me to believe that? And I'd really like sit with it and be like, well, this is how I feel. You
wow.
know, but yeah,
That's cool that you're still open-minded to take it all in,
hundred
but then
percent.
ultimately you make your own decision.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
agree. It's not to go down a rabbit hole, but I used to trust like everything,
yeah, yeah,
like government, all that.
yeah,
And then like as I got older, it's like,
yeah.
man,
There's a motive to everything.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I remember I got my appendix taken out, like how different industries are kind of, like kind of corrupt in a sense.
yeah.
I was in the hospital for like, let's say 12 hours. And I tell this story because it kind of, I'm a little bitter about it.
Yeah,
I need to
sure,
let it
sure,
go,
sure.
but
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm grateful that I got my appendix taken out. Everything's
yeah,
great. But the surgeon billed me separately, which was fine.
Yep.
The anesthesiologist was
Excuse me.
separate, which was fine.
Hmm.
They all did awesome. I'm so grateful for them.
Yep.
But then the hospital tried to bill me $60,000,
Oh,
and I was
wicked.
only in there for like 10
Yeah,
hours,
yeah.
chicken soup, and that was it. Like, it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Uh-huh.
I went off on a little tangent,
Yeah,
but
I've heard the horror stories, man. It's ridiculous.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
like it's just certain industries don't make sense.
Yeah.
But so I agree.
Yeah,
That's
I've got
how.
my appendix out too.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
It was I think it was like again like I was down here a couple years and I was like 2021 maybe. I got my appendix out 3 days before a pro soccer combine in
Oh wow,
Orlando, Florida,
man.
and like I probably shouldn't have done the combine, but like yeah,
You still did
I
it?
still did it. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Damn, that's crazy.
yeah.
It's funny the
But
coincidence of you having it out as well, but
yeah.
damn, you still did it. I was so sore.
I was sore too, and you know how like whenever you have an injury, like it seems like every loose ball, every flaring elbow, like it just seemed to hit
Yeah.
me like right in the midsection, and I was like
Oh
60,
man.
65% probably, but I was like, it was cool just to, I mean, at that time I was a young kid, and that was the passion, and just being on the field, knowing that like if I did have that other 30% to me, that I could
Yeah.
have like held my own, but like it was a blessing in disguise, like many things are, right? Depending on how you look at it. Because like at that time, I was like, oh, like pro soccer, MLS, like sounds cool. I can travel, I can get the soccer in. But they sat us down at a big like seminar, if you will, had a PowerPoint presentation, and they really talked to us. And they're like, you have got to really want to be here, because I don't know how many of you know this. They asked us, they're like, how much do you think the average MLS player makes a year? And again, this was like close to 20 years ago. And like we all had our numbers in our head, and they said that it was like $19,000, right? And like they said, it's like an 11-month commitment because the season is
Wow.
this long, the training is this long. You get 1 month off, you get a per diem per day, and what have you. But we were like $19,000. I was like, I was making a lot more than that, like just doing my thing. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
was like, do I really want to sacrifice? Do I really want to commit? And it kind of like steered my direction away from that passion project. But in that, I always say it's like it's important to know what you don't want to do just as much as you do want to do. Because if you don't try things, you're kind of always sitting on the fence wondering, like, well, if I do this, like, will it work out? Well, what have you? Go for it. And don't be sad if it doesn't work out. Be glad that it doesn't work out because it's like, okay, I don't have to waste any more energy in that route because I know it's not for me. So open all these doors to what could possibly be,
I like that.
So
I like that. Like
uh,
leave no stone unturned, basically.
100%. Yeah, yeah. Keep plugging.
Hmm. That's a good way to put it.
Hmm.
What is your fundamental why, would you say? You're driving, because I know you're a gym person,
Yeah, yeah.
very self-aware. What's your driving force for everything?
Just fun, man. Like it's fun, and I say that and like it sounds like really innocent and kind of like, oh, like fun, like whatever, like you got to be professional, you got to make a life for yourself. But if I'm not having fun above all else, like who am I for other people in general? Like if I'm not getting my cup filled, like how am I to service anyone else? And a lot of that for me comes back to fun. I mean, I know we talk a little bit about fitness more on this instance, but like I went through like everybody does, like not even as far as to say body dysmorphia, but like, as a young kid, I was like, oh, you want to get big, you want to get big, you want to get big, if that's your thing. And then like if you're bigger, you want to get cut, you want to get cut, you want to get cut. And I would try to like manipulate my body a little bit, but there became a certain time in my life or my career, if you will, where I told myself like, everybody wants to look good in their clothes. Everyone wants to look good when they go to the beach. But I told myself at one point, like, I want to stop judging myself on how I look. I want to judge myself on what I can do with my body.
Hmm.
And like goes into what you said about like the control and like the body weight stuff and like the handstands and just like the mobility and the introduction of yoga. And like once I did that, like my endurance, my energy, my attitude towards my training, it wasn't any different. It wasn't any less. And by doing what I enjoyed and being able to do multiple things with my body, I still looked good. You
True.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like as
the
long as you stay
byproducts.
consistent, like you're gonna look good. So just stay at it. And yeah, it was a big mind switch.
Huh. No, that's cool that you found your purpose in that sense.
Yeah.
But I like the way you said, if it's not fun, because would you say that's like kind of as long as you're being true to yourself and kind of pursuing your path, it's always going to be enjoyable?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And like, if I mean, again, like we have the yoga studio and we have the gym. And like, if we're in a shitty mood, like, who's gonna have a good time with us facilitating for them?
That's
You know
true.
what I mean? Luckily, Janine and I are pretty happy people. You know what I mean? But like, we keep that level high because that's where we resonate, and like, it just bleeds into everyone else that's around us. Because like,
Man,
the higher energy will always raise the lower energies around, and like, that's something that we see firsthand every day. So yeah,
that's so cool.
yeah.
Man. Yeah, no, every time you know, I'm around either one of you,
Yeah,
it's like Emma was saying, like, hey, just always have such good energy.
yeah, right on.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Because it takes a certain mindset to, you know, to stay in that state.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And so it's not very common for someone to always be at such a high like energy
No,
level.
100%, man. I think
Yeah.
like we fall back on like a lot of. I say they're Ram Dass's quotes, but like he probably pulled them from something else or somebody else because like no quote's really original. But one thing that he said years ago that stuck with me is like, you don't have to like everything that you do. You're just supposed to love
Oh wow.
it.
I like that.
So it is. It's like that's how we live. And like when
Man.
someone speaks to you, and it doesn't have to be Ram Dass, it doesn't have to be a religious structure or anything written in a textbook, but like sometimes people talk to you in a way that like they speak and hit to your cores that like, oh, that's how I've always felt. And like someone else agrees with that, but they put it in such an articulate way. And like it is true. Like I don't like everything I do. I hate doing laundry, I hate doing dishes, but like I love it. You know what I mean? I love the fact that like I'm getting productive things done. I love the fact that this is making my life easier. I love the fact that I'm physically able to do all these tasks. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like I love
That's true.
life, you know?
No, you're right.
Mm.
Ultimately, it's we're alive and we're
Yeah,
yeah, you're right.
yeah.
It's a good way to yeah see
Yeah,
things. Um, if your journey, kind of a fun question, if your
yeah.
journey was turned into a movie, what would the title be? And I know
Ooh.
we haven't gotten into some of it.
Yeah, no. That's a good one. I think I've had this like similar question in my mind over many different years. And I always come back to like Ride the Wave.
Oh, I like
Like
that.
yeah.
Right
Like I'm a
away.
beach bum, so that's like why I'm partial to that kind of analogy. But like it is just that, like the waves of energy and the waves of life,
Right
just
away.
ride them. And coming back to that fun.
Man, no, it's so true though. Everything you're saying, and I'm thinking back, you know,
Yeah,
and if I had just listened to my heart and stopped trying to,
yeah.
it's like there wouldn't have been as much resistance, and we could
Oh
have
yeah.
just
Well,
been
and if like
more
if you've ever
focused.
surfed or done anything on the water, like you
Right
can't
away.
fight that. You can't go against that wave and surf outward. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So the more you can find that path and find that rhythm and just flow with it, like nothing else matters.
Man, it's so
Yeah.
crazy how things just flow. So
Yeah,
crazy, yeah.
yeah.
It's like a night and day difference
A
from
hu-
like forcing things
100%,
instead
man.
of just riding away. I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Riding away. Huh. Getting into the mindset and personal growth section, if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, let's say like 10, 15 years ago, what would
Yeah,
it
yeah.
be?
Man, that's a good question. So I would have been. Uh, I mean, this is a funny one. I'll give one quick summary while I think about a better answer. Like, I think everybody has that one I wish I would have. Like, there was a duplex on Siesta Key that I was renting out, and it was like for sale at the time, and I didn't want to be stuck down in one location. And it was like $70,000 for this duplex,
Oh,
and
that's
I didn't buy
amazing.
it. But if I would have bought that, I always tell myself if I would have
Man.
changed one thing, it would have been that, because now,
Yeah,
like it would have been
yeah.
whatever. But in the sense of like not financial and just like more internal, um, man, like it's tough. Like I don't think I would have so much given myself advice to change. I would have just like patted myself on the back for like always being honest.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So like I've always been an honest bird for better or worse. You know what I mean? If I say something, I feel like it's necessary. But also luckily for me, I feel like I have a way that it comes from me and the person can hear it. And if it comes from an outside source, they may not take it as well. But I think
Ah,
people understand that like I have no weight behind it.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? I'm only saying it because it's true. And they know that I could care less about what I'm saying. I'm just like in that flow. You know what I mean? Like I could say you're doing an awful job. I don't care that you're doing an awful job,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna look the other way and like lie to you about it. So like I would more so just be like, yeah, good job at always being honest and like keep that up.
I like that.
Yeah,
There's so much to that. Man, and it's such a deep answer. Like
mm.
it
Yeah,
looking into that, it's like you're saying ultimately that you are just relaying the information
yeah, yeah,
and being and pointing it out,
yeah.
but ultimately it's like there's nothing bad behind it.
No, it's just it is what it is. And like I'm feel free to do that with other people because I do that with myself first and foremost. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like I talked about having fun, and I talked about keeping the high vibes, and I talked about like maybe not even touching on regret yet, but like the most mad I've ever gotten is like mad at myself. You know what I mean? Because like I'll give the example like if you're in a situation and maybe somebody else does something, it could be at a like party or like a function that you go to, and someone else does something to like set you off. Yeah, right? Like I'm not mad at them for doing whatever they did to set me off. I put myself in that position. I decided to go to that thing. I was willing to put up with whatever variable came out of that situation. So am I going to get mad at them for being their true self in that true moment?
Sure.
Like, no, they're just doing what they do. I'm mad at myself with how I maybe interpreted it, how I like knew that I put myself in that situation where that might be possible, and then I'll rectify my decisions in the future.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Nothing's ever personal. Like I know we're jumping all over the place, but like if you do something to me, even if it was vindictive and like your goal was to grind my gears, like that's not about me. That's more about you than it is about me. Yeah.
That's true.
So
Wow.
like nothing's personal, man. So like once I realize that, I'm just like, oh, they're just doing their thing. How do I react to that, and how do I make decisions moving forward? Like
Yeah.
that's it.
Ultimately, you choose how things affect you.
100%. Yeah.
Man, I like the way you said nothing's ever personal because
Yeah.
that's so true.
Yeah.
Like the way you're putting things, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah.
so
That's
true.
big light bulbs for me over the years. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting because thinking about how you interact with people, like I feel like I know you're very intuitive,
Hmm.
and I feel like I'm really intuitive as well, and so I pick up on how when you talk to people,
Yeah.
and this is a part of that gift,
Hmm.
I think people inherently know that there's nothing bad coming from you,
Yeah.
and so anything you tell them, it's almost like
Yeah.
they like it doesn't, like you can deliver a message better than anyone.
Oh yeah,
In other words,
I say that about myself, and I don't mean to toot my own horn, but my
yeah,
close circle will always say that. Be like, no, that's Josh. He just shoots it straight. But like, yeah,
yeah, I can see that about you. Though you can
yeah,
pretty much tell anyone anything, and
yeah,
it just like it's almost comforting in a sense.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
that's awesome.
Even bad news can be received well, and it's all in jest from me because it's all supposed to be fun. You know what I mean?
That's
So like, yeah,
man,
I don't care about anything.
that's cool. Like everything ultimately comes together, like what you're saying.
100%, yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
Man, there's so many different ways to go with this.
Yeah, yeah. And if you don't want to know the truth and if you don't want to hear the truth, like you got more work to do than anything else fitness wise, you know?
True,
So, yeah.
true. Yeah, ignorance, I do not think is bliss.
No,
For sure. To like sweep things under the carpet.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
No.
Um, do you have any morning? This is not as deep as the last question,
Yeah.
but do you have any morning rituals or like mental exercises you do first thing in the morning?
Man, like this used to be a different answer. Like I mean, I think Janine touched on it when you guys talked, but like ever since we started waking up at 4:40, like in the morning, like anything before 5 is like a different game for us. So like when we used to wake up at 5:30, it felt choice, you know, and really great. 5 was good. 4:40, just those 20-minute differences, like it really kind of like throws a wrench in our morning routines, I guess,
Ah,
if you will.
I see.
Um, I'm a great preparer, so I prepare a lot the night before for the next day. So I'm like ready to go in the morning. It used to be a little bit more of like a meditation or a breath work, waking up in the morning, like first thing, drop into the floor and just get into that state. But right now, man, it's just like kind of like reviewing my notes for the day and just like getting that like good feeling, confident feeling about like the things I'm going to attack that day. And I can still get my meditation time in, but like it's not
Mhm.
as ritual and routine as the morning and it used to be.
I see.
Yeah,
Still, it sounds like a nice balance, getting your mind right. And
totally. Yeah.
um, what is your advice for those struggling with self-doubt or a lack of motivation? What would you say?
Man, I think that again, like I think a lot of that stems from not being honest with yourself. You know what I mean? Because like I think if everybody was honest with themselves, not so much that that would stoke their motivation, but it would let them know like where they're at now. Like, because too often, like I'll give the example. Like I tell people, like people ask me all the time, like, "Oh, help me with my diet," and like I mean, I know you know that like my diet help with people has changed over the years because I don't think there's one cookie cutter approach that fits everybody.
Definitely.
So like what I've developed into is like telling people like if you really want my help, you know, like give me a 3-day food journal. And I usually tell them take Friday, Saturday, Sunday, write down everything you eat, write down when you eat it, if you worked out that day and how you feel after you eat that food. And the amount of times I say that, you know, like taking 3 days to take down the time of what you eat and giving it over to me. Like if I've offered that for 200 people, like the amount of times I've gotten it back is far lower than you'd expect.
Wow.
And like, why is that? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Are they like afraid that they don't want to like divulge to me like their dietary options? Because we know like I could care less. You know what I mean? And then when I get those food journals back, like I know it's not real. You know what I mean? I'm like, this isn't what you ate. Like, come on, bro. Like tell me what you ate. You know, I can't help you. And like the reason they do the food journal is like there's no cookie cutter approach, and you can't get it all in one day. But I like to do it where if you're honest with where you're at right now, like I can give you stepping stones to kind of like alter that diet. It lets me know what you enjoy, so I can kind of keep that a little bit in your life. But you kind of like adapt to this new stepping stone, new stepping stone, new stepping stone. It becomes a gradual thing.
Makes sense.
So I think like people lose the idea of motivation because they're just not honest about like what progression looks like. Like they don't think they're doing a good thing or moving in the right direction because they're not honest about where they are right now. But once you lay it all out on paper, like you can make small changes. And I think that the small changes that you achieve once you're honest from the base point, like your motivation will do nothing but come greater. You know,
Man.
so I think it's just like all about honesty, about like really where you are, realizing where you've let it go, and realizing what your strengths are, and like finding that balance and rolling through.
That is so true. Like so simple, but
Yeah,
so
so
deep at the same
simple.
time.
Yeah, yeah,
Because and that almost ties in with like self-discovery, self-awareness.
yep,
It's like the people that don't want to be honest with themselves. I almost feel like there's a correlation with not wanting to dig deep,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
it's kind of crazy how it all comes together.
yeah. Totally. Imagine that.
Interesting.
Yep.
It's the way you're putting things. It's like connecting the dots.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
That's
It's just
interesting.
fun and honest, man. That's like my mode.
Wow.
Yeah.
You simplify it so much. Like this stuff is so deep, but yet you
Right.
simplify it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have the ability to say that I've never had a bad day in my life. I've never had anything bad happen to me because it is simple. I think that life is simple, but it's just people get sidetracked, people get distracted, people get like fed all this information that's like not true to themselves, and they let it bring them down.
Man, no, that is so true though, because
Hmm.
thinking about everything you said, if people are just, always honest with others and themselves,
Yeah.
and people were more, like you in a sense,
Yep.
and just followed through with what they said, and didn't talk bad about other people, and like
Yeah.
just, had these fundamentals down,
Yeah.
and then simply followed their heart,
Yep.
like life would be
A
simple.
100%, man. Even if you have that friend, okay, say you have a fringe friend that like you might have been real tight at one time, you've kind of grown apart over the years, but you still keep them in their life. And I'm just giving random
Yeah,
examples,
yeah.
but like say they do something constantly that irritates you, and you're like, like I can brush that under the rug, like they're my homie, like they're cool, like whatever, whatever. If you don't let them know, this could be even in an intimate relationship too. If you don't let them know that something that they're doing is kind of like driving you awry, like they have no chance to rectify it. They have no chance to make that better.
That's a
They're
good point.
probably not doing it intentionally, but once they realize through your honesty that that's like kind of getting you off kilter, like they're like, oh, I don't want to upset him. You know what I mean? Like, let me see what I can do in the future. And like, you're giving them that chance to like better themselves and then in turn bettering your relationship. And that's just like one small piece, but that's like compounded like your whole life.
Man,
Yeah.
no, the way you put that, it almost it makes me realize that you're almost doing it for them.
100%, dude. Yeah.
All these like I'm not exaggerating at all.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
the way you're putting things, it's
Yeah.
really making me see everything so differently.
Yeah. I'm not a sugarcoater, and like for
Wow,
that reason, for myself and for them,
I
like
like that.
that's just the world I live. Yeah.
So it's almost like by not saying something, you're not protecting them. You're being selfish in
You're
a
doing,
sense.
you're being selfish and doing a
Yeah.
disservice to that other person.
Wow.
100%. Yeah.
Man, so yeah, literally being honest 100% of the time, it really does serve everyone.
It's a time saver, dude. Because
Wow.
if you are honest to somebody and they can't take that honesty, then you're probably not going to have them as a friend anymore. They're probably going to go to the wayside. And even in turn, like some people say, like, oh, well, that hurts, that sucks. It's a blessing. You know what I mean? Because if they're not with you, they're not with you.
That's
So
true.
like, just yeah, let it go.
Man. Huh. So many good like quotables.
Yeah, little nuggets.
Man, this section isn't as deep.
Mhm.
It is the more of the fitness section,
Yep.
and of course we can jump around. But biggest gym pet peeve. If
Biggest gym pet peeve.
yeah, and this could be
Um,
anything. 'Cause I know you're a
yeah,
very
no, like
positive
I'm
person.
flooded with thoughts. But I'm trying to narrow it down. Like, honestly, just like not being consistent, like really
Okay,
drives me crazy. I know that has to do with being in the gym and out of the gym. You know what I mean? But like inconsistency is like one of my thing, and like Janine and I are a little biased because like we need that in our life. Like our day doesn't start until we get something physically done. You know what I mean? Like we're kind of like high wired in that like it helps us release some stress. It helps us kind of keep that high energy and
yeah,
keep that mode. But actually in the gym, um, I mean this is really easy because like I know you've been in the gyms, they're all over the nation. Like, you've been in a gym where a lot of the times people will say, like, they're a little apprehensive or they're nervous or they don't want to go into that gym because everyone's kind of making them feel in the way that they don't belong there. You know what I mean? What we love about the core and being here and kind of like creating this little nest egg is that we have people of all fitness levels. And like, we're so just like, we get emotional about it when we realize how encouraging and supportive like the fittest athlete is, just as well with like the total noob. You know what I mean? It's like just
true.
trying to start from ground zero.
That's
So
true.
like when people in the gym are not like first off happy to be there, you know what I mean? Because like you are having fun, you are bettering yourself, and you are like letting go of these endorphins and these emotions. But like if you're not like really supportive of those around you, you know what I mean? You're again doing yourself a disservice. So like that's just like it's not a pet peeve so much. I just wish that were different in most gyms or more gyms where
I
like
see.
people were all bettering themselves. So like I wish they would all give in to that like that energy shift, you know?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's interesting how even that answer is ultimately it comes back to how you stand
Yeah,
because it's
yeah, yeah.
ultimately it's
Yeah.
not a pet peeve like oh I hate it when people do this.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
more so like you're mad
yeah.
at them for not doing it for themselves.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean, because like, I mean, you can say all the typical, like, oh, like people leaving weights out, you know, or like people doing
true.
this, that, or the other. But like, no, I mean, like, as like, even as a gym owner, like, if I have to put weights away, like, that's my job. You know
That's
what I mean?
true.
Like, I signed
That's
up for
true.
all of this, so I'm not gonna
You're
let
right.
that be a pet peeve to ruin my day, because like, I am a gym owner. Like, I am gonna keep my gym clean. You know what I mean? So the
That's
small
true.
stuff, I don't sweat, but just like more the energy, more the emotional, more the like,
Man,
yeah, just be positive.
that's a good answer.
Yeah.
Huh. Um, how has fitness affected areas of your life
Yeah.
beyond just physical?
Yeah, yeah. Um, so I always try to struggle with how to really categorize this into like a conversation piece. So like we talked about how does your physical prowess improve other aspects of your life? Like I think that it improves connection and intelligence. And you might hear that and be like, "Well, what do you mean? Like that seems far-fetched." But like if I'm in a house and I walk outside the house and there's a white picket fence out front, the one we talked about before, and you might see that fence, and if you work hard and like I'm a springboard, like I'm a big frog, jumper, I know that I can hop over that fence. And like most people will see that fence and they'll never even think that they could get over it, or like they may not even ever think that that's a possibility or a necessity to get over that. But the more um, intellectually connected you are with your body and knowing what you're capable of, it just really does improve your knowledge of like what's possible, but also like just that connection through self. You know what I mean? Like I always talk about that baseline of being honest with yourself. Like it bleeds out into the rest of the world, because like if you know inside yourself what's helped you, what you need help with, and like kind of what hangs you up in different areas, like you can take that same type of approach of how you discovered those things about your physical prowess and like apply those same lessons to like everyday life. You know what I mean? So like it really is like it starts, everything is internal.
It's so holistic.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
and so symbolic of life.
yeah,
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 no, that's true. The this you might be biased with this question.
yep.
The coolest or your favorite gym you've ever been to worldwide?
Man, okay, okay. Yeah, you're right. I'm biased. I would say this one for sure.
This is a cool gym.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm really trying to dig deep on that one. Man, I think like I mean, I know we've traveled the world and gone to some pretty cool gyms, whether they're like really nice and pristine equipment or whether they're just like we needed a gym at the time and it was offered to us, you know, so it might have been
Yeah,
like, oh, like thank goodness this gym's here. But I go back, man, like when I first came down here, I had worked out in my house and different things and like through sports and whatnot. But like those old days at the YMCA, like dude, I loved being there. I loved going there. I loved the community. And like it was like at the time like a really high, like I don't know what I'm trying to say, like a high fitness level of like the equipment and
yeah.
like this the facility itself and all that. So like I just have so many good memories from that place that like it's got to be up there.
The Potter Park
Potter
YMCA.
Park, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Thinking back, there really weren't a lot of other gyms at the time.
I don't remember as such, right? Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
like being very limited. Yeah, because Crunch, I think at that time was Gold's Gym. I don't think it
Yes.
became Crunch yet. So yeah, it was a
Yes.
different landscape for sure.
It was just the YMC, two YMCA's,
Yeah,
and I think Gold's Gym and the little hole in the wall
yeah,
was
yeah,
probably
absolutely. Yeah.
wow.
It's
It's
crazy to think about
changed,
how the world and how the mode of things has changed.
man.
Yeah.
That
Because now
yeah,
you might drive by 3 gyms just to get to the gym that you prefer.
yeah. It's
It's
crazy.
crazy. Yeah, it's cool.
I
Yeah.
remember, yeah, it's so cool to see how the industry. We would go to Greece and growing up, and like they didn't work out,
Yeah. Yeah.
and there might be like one gym, in Athens, like,
Yeah.
but you couldn't find a gym. And
Yeah.
now it's so
Yeah.
big, like it's blown up.
No,
It's
I
so
get it,
cool to
man.
see.
It's cool to see. Yeah.
Yeah, man. What is your go-to song or playlist when you need to power through a workout? I'm curious to hear this.
Yeah. 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 Man, nothing gets me going like EDM.
Really?
Like,
Okay.
oh yeah, yeah.
So the beat.
Yeah, I need the beat. Yeah, I
Ah,
need the beat. I need the bass. That's for sure.
all right.
Yeah.
I can see that. The if you could ban one exercise, what would it be? Is there an exercise you don't think is
Oh,
very?
shucks. Like for me personally,
Yeah, it could
uh,
be from a functional point of view or
yeah,
like
yeah.
from your perspective.
Man, I really got to think about this. Like, man, personally, this sounds silly, but like, I hate cleans because they're like one of the, I feel like I can teach them better than I can perform them. Like,
Ah,
there's such a,
okay.
like, a little, like, little intricacies to the movement that, like, even for me, I get when people struggle with them because there's a lot of different things that you can overcompensate with and not really get the full benefit of the movement as
True.
far as like your body parts are concerned. So like that's just on me to like take more time and like more training on like that specific move because like I want to like it. It's just like I always find myself compensating in some other area of my body and I know I'm like this isn't the way it should feel. I'm not
Ah,
targeting what I'm supposed to, you know.
I
So like I
see.
need to do a better job at that. But as far as people go, like the mass majority of people, man, I mean, not even such a move, but just like I really stress like form over output. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So like it's not even so much one exercise or one move, but it's just not going hero. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I'd rather you stick to that form, stick to your breath, and really find a good range of motion instead of just doing something to like put it in your mental accolades, you know? So
I
that's like
see.
across the board, that's my thing. But
Makes sense.
yeah.
So basically not to ego lifts.
Yeah, not to ego lift. Yep, well said.
I see.
Yeah.
Um, have you ever had an embarrassing gym moment?
Ooh, man, I can't think of off the top of my head, but like at that same token, like I can't think of any time in my life I've really been embarrassed. I've had like on the paper like maybe embarrassing moments, but again, it comes back to that like how do you deal with it? You know, I've never
True.
really felt
True.
embarrassed.
Because things happen and
Yeah, oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah. But I'm
that's
trying
true.
to think like what would be clumsy or what would be.
Like those compilations of people,
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Well, okay. Since you brought that up, you've seen usually it's girls because girls have ponytails.
Oh
You've seen the,
yeah.
they're squatting heavy, right?
Yeah.
And they're going down and they bail the weight the way they should. You know, they have the strap set up and they bail the weight and their ponytail gets caught and they go all the way to their back on the ground. This is like maybe 5 months ago now. I was over here in the squat rack feeling good that day, you know, and
Oh
normally I don't lift
man.
heavy anymore. And like I was just kept on going up. And I was
Mm.
at like squatting 295 or something. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get 300 today. It's like been years, you know, since I've even
Yeah.
tried. You know, I was like, I'm going to go for it and Janine was actually recording it that day,
Oh
and I put
man.
my hair up, and I had my dreads in the ponytail, and like we had the straps set up. I knew I could bail. I went down, felt good. On my way up, my knee started to go in, and I was like, oh, no, no.
Oh,
And I went to bail the weight and caught my ponytail and just like drug
oh
me to the ground.
man.
And
Dang, that sounds
yeah,
like it
yeah.
hurts.
It could have hurt a lot worse than it did. I thought I was
Okay.
going to have a little neck structural thing, but like I
Dang.
just got up laughing, and I was just like glad that I was still a human. But like
Good,
it did.
good.
It took me down.
Whew. Yeah, it could be dangerous some of those
Oh,
things.
very dangerous. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
But
That's a good one though.
yeah, that's a yeah. Luckily, it was just like the two of us and maybe one other person in here, but not luckily, but yeah.
True, true. But then, yeah, I like your mentality of how it happens to everyone.
Oh, it
Yeah,
happens to everyone. Yeah,
everyone
yeah,
has mistakes they've made. I've gotten stuck
yeah.
like on bench when I was
Oh,
younger,
100%.
or
Yeah, yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah. Bang shins on box jumps. We all do it. We all slip. We all fall. Yeah,
that's true.
yeah.
Yeah, for those who are starting out, not to be embarrassed of
No,
anything that
100%.
happens.
Like it's part of the journey. Yeah,
So I've had a friend like rip his pants like squatting or like
yeah, for
wearing not
sure, for
wearing like
sure. I've
workout
seen that a
clothes.
lot. Yeah, over the years. Yep.
It's funny. If you had to sum up your fitness journey in one word, what would it be and why?
um, I mean, honestly, man, like, not to, I'll give two answers because one's just hitting that same harp. Fun, but really like trying to think of a better word to encompass, like life changing, but like in the way of just teaching. Like I don't even mean that in the sense of me teaching others, but like it has taught me a lot about myself.
Hmm.
And like it's not just like my I can say fitness journey, but like my professional career outside of fitness, like financially or just like relationship wise, like everything's like a teaching moment for me. So like it's been very just teaching me because like we talked about, like there were times where I wanted to be bigger, there were times where I wanted to be more cut, there were times where I wanted to be fill in the blank,
Different
but like
phases.
understanding like, well, why do I want to be that? You know what I mean? What is it inside of me that is the driving force other than curiosity? Like, what about me do I want to change? Do I not like? Do I think it would be better when? You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's like all that mental kind of like teaching.
it's cool that you would ask why you felt that way because most people
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
they would just feel that
They would
way.
just blindly like, yeah,
Yeah,
dive in.
not
But
even
like,
examine why.
oh, everything's the why. Yeah, yeah. Like,
Yeah,
why did I, when, like, even when I'm upset, like, well, what part of me is upset? Usually the part of me that expected some desired outcome. You know what
yeah.
I mean? And I'm like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't have expected anything. You know what I mean? Because it all comes back to you. It all comes back to you. So,
You naturally would just always every interaction, every experience, you just dive in deep and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
man,
Yeah.
that's why
And
you're
that's
so
what my dad said.
wise.
Like, ever since I
That's
was a
cool.
young one, like, I was just
Yeah.
always like that inquisitive little guy, Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
yeah, most people are not on that level. Like most,
Yeah.
and hopefully they learn. But like,
Yeah.
it's interesting. The majority of people just don't want to dive deep.
Totally. And like
Yeah,
I don't know, like I it goes two ways, I guess, or multiple ways it could go, but like going back to the early adolescence, like I don't think everybody has such a similar path, and like to say it was like an easy path maybe, but like at 5 years old I remember getting like our soccer team photo. And like that team photo came back and like I saw myself, I saw my coaches, I saw my other players. Like I remember looking at that photo and like of course I was a cute little kid, of course. But like I remember looking at the photo and just being like, man, like I'm really glad to be that one. I'm
hmm,
really glad to be that person, like in that
interesting.
photo. So like
Yeah,
I don't know if it was like from parents, from life, from happenstance, but like I've always had this kind of like belief, trust, and happiness with like being the person that I got to be. And I
interesting.
think like whether that the chicken or the egg, whether the
Yeah,
idea of being glad for being that person started first, or whether I was just an impeccable person and I found fondness toward that like
yeah.
steered me in the right direction, but like
Wow,
that was always instilled in me from an early age.
interesting. Like
Yeah.
it's so crazy from like a spiritual side,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
where like yeah, like I really do feel like we're who we are for a reason, and
100%.
it's our
Yeah.
job to figure it out and
Yeah.
find our path.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember when I was younger, I used to like look at my hands, and like when I would stare for like too long, I get like this out of body experience where like it felt like I was
Yeah.
like this is me now, like the
Yeah,
weirdest
dude, I get it.
sensation,
Yeah, yeah.
weirdest thing,
Yeah.
almost like I can't even explain it. So weird. Life is crazy,
Life is crazy.
man.
Yeah, it's probably not the first time we've done
Yeah, yeah.
it.
That's exactly
Yeah, yeah.
crazy. Do you have any? Actually, one more question before that. what are the most common mistakes you see people making when trying to build a sustainable routine?
Yeah. Um, Honestly, like, of course, it comes back to that honesty, but like, excuse me, whether it's diet, whether it's like trying to hit the ground running, like with their like, well, I'll give the example, like, say that you don't work out at all, and you're going to tell yourself, and I know Janine touched on this because we harp on it for so much, but like, give yourself realistic expectations. Set yourself up to over succeed as opposed to like underachieve. Because like if you tell yourself like, oh, I got to go to the gym 6 days a week, because if you don't make that 6 day a week, you feel like a failure.
Yeah.
But if you look at your schedule, you look at your free time, you look at your dietary concerns, and you're like, okay, realistically speaking, being honest with myself, I can afford to go X amount of times. Set that up, get that like in your wheelhouse, make that like muscle memory, make it a part of
True.
your routine, and then think to build on top of that. But like too many times we give ourselves unrealistic expectations,
That's a good
and
point.
like even when it comes to training and overtraining, and like people getting discouraged, like if they say they like, have been working out for years and they get in the habit and they work out like X amount of times a week, but 1 week you're just not feeling it. You know what I mean? Like I saw a post about this the other day, and it was going back to those things where I talked about Ram Dass before. Like sometimes you see a quote and you're like, oh man, that encompasses how I feel, but just in such an articulate way that like I'm not the only one that thinks that. Cool, cool.
Ah,
Because like the guy was talking about like why we as people are on a 7 day weekly schedule. You know what I mean? It was based off of, I don't remember the details and I'd butcher it if I even tried to remember, but like we plan our whole life based on a month, based on a week, based on 7 days, based on
that's true.
24 hours.
That's
I
true.
always tell people, because I preach it to myself, act as if this is all just one long day. So don't start breaking it down into 24 hours. Don't even think about it as a week. This is one long day. Are you hungry right now? Do you have energy to work out right now? Don't be like, well, I did this yesterday. I have this coming up tomorrow. If it was one long day, would you nap? Would you eat? Would you work out? And if you're
Man,
not listening to that, like, what are you listening to? You know, so don't get caught up in like your regiment based on some fabricated idea of what this world is supposed to be structured in. Because it's just one long day, dude.
oh my God, no, like that's so deep.
It's true, yeah. Well, who else are you listening to
Man,
if you're not listening to that internal clock or voice or
that is so deep. Um, because then it forces you to live in the present
present? Yeah,
and follow your heart. Like it forces everything.
everything. Yeah, that's all there is. Yeah.
Wow. Like it sounds so simple,
It,
but like
it sounds
it's
simple, but
so
it
deep
is.
though.
Yeah, yeah,
Man.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, not to think about when I do this, I need to do that, I need to do that. It's just how do I feel now? You're just taking
yeah.
it one thing at a time.
Yep, yep. Because I mean, I know,
Man.
like, I mean, I have a lot of years under my belt, so maybe I can afford some luxuries. And by luxuries, I mean, like, maybe I don't eat super clean all the time. Maybe I don't work out, like, as rigorous as I do sometimes. And, like, I have the past track history that, like, I can afford that maybe.
Yeah.
But, like, again, like, I always give the example in meditation, and I'll go real quick into this and then the next.
Oh yeah,
Like,
of
if you're
course.
meditating and, like, in your mind, you're meditating and you have an itch on your left cheek, and you're like, this is my mental mind speaking out loud. It's like, I have an itch on my left cheek. Uh, is it going to go away? Shit, it's still there. Is it going to go away? You know, like, or you could
Yeah.
be in meditation and you could be breathing, and the second you get that itch, what's faster? Like, what brings you back to your
Ah,
meditation quicker?
I see
Like,
your
just
point.
taking the movement of your body and taking care of that scratch or that itch, or like pining over it and second guessing it. And
I
I apply
see.
that same thing to like working out. Like, I never get discouraged or down on myself if I take a rest day, if I take a nap. I know some
True.
people are so strict in their mind that, like, I can't take a nap. Like, that's lazy. I should be, like, burning 200 calories right now. Like, if I crave something, like, if I crave a super heavy sweet or a big pizza or whatever it is, I think about it. And again, I go back to why am I craving this? And sometimes I know the answer, sometimes I don't, but I feel better in giving into that craving when it comes because it probably has some validity to it. You know,
True.
something about your craving, something about your taste buds, something about your gut biome, something about your emotional state is needing that whatever it is.
Wow.
So I don't ever feel guilty about what I do because I know I'm not having it for nothing. I'm having it because I crave it. I'm having it. If it's a food choice, I have it. I have so much of it that I remind myself of why I don't do that all the time. You know what I mean? I'm not all about like, oh, I'm going to have a little bit of sugar every day.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? And like spreading it out because I'll get those food journals back and I'm like, I'll
Ah,
reveal to them and I'm like, well, you think you're doing okay just having a little snack every day, but you don't have any 12-hour period in your waking day where you're sugar free. So what's worse, having like one big gorge of sugar that random time it comes around,
that's
going so
true.
hard and so deep that reminds yourself of like why you don't do that to your body, or
Yeah,
just like really microdosing on sugar all the time. You know,
that's
that's just one
true.
example, but like it's about that intuitive listening and just like being true and not upset with what decision you come out with.
I like
Uh,
that. No, because it again, it's just it's living.
living,
Like
yeah, yeah,
like
that's what we're here
you
to do.
yeah, like you found the perfect balance of just living,
Mm,
and you simplified it.
yeah, yeah,
Because people make it, including myself, make it so complicated. Like I
yeah,
need to do this and this and this to have balance,
yeah,
when literally it's just living in the moment,
yeah.
like, and just following.
Yeah, and
Man, I
falling
like
back
that.
in the diet, because I know everyone struggles with like trying to cross their T's and dot their I's.
Yeah,
Like in my life, and again, I have a big track record, so I have a lot of like track history to like base off of like these decisions. But like, I never once in my life have felt guilty about something that I've eaten.
hmm.
You know, never afterward I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have had that. Because again, like I'm that big, like kind of like hippy dippy, like the emotional state of what you're eating, I think weighs so much more than what the food actually
Yeah,
is. If you're constantly eating something weekly that you're like, oh, I shouldn't have this, I'm gonna get fat, like I don't deserve this is bad for me. Like you're telling yourself what's gonna come to fruition.
true,
You know what I mean?
true.
If you're like, this is fuel, I crave it, I want it, I feel good with it, I deserve it. Like your body doesn't know the difference between your emotional. It doesn't know if it's like valid or not. It
That's
just
true.
feels your emotions. So like be positive, be glad, feel gratitude, and deserve the fuel that you give yourself. And as long as you keep that mental state, like I think that'll override like whatever actually is physically happening.
I like
Uh,
that. There's like science behind it too.
I believe it. Yeah.
Like I read something about how like the energy towards what you eat. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it makes sense because
Yeah.
like most of the food, depending on the food,
Yeah.
there's water content,
Yeah. Yeah.
and water is influenced by like energy, and
Yeah. Yeah.
that's so crazy, man. Huh.
Yeah.
Um, do you have any specific diets you follow? Like I kind of know the answer since
Yeah,
after you
yeah.
said.
So
Okay.
like we talked about, like same as like the training modalities. Like when I was an early trainer, I used to try like every diet under the sun because I knew my clients would come talk to me and be like, "Well, what do you think about this diet? What do you think about this diet?" And I wanted to speak from firsthand about like what the Atkins diet felt like, what the
I
carnivore
see.
diet felt like, what being vegan felt like, what like all the things felt like, so I could talk from a personal source and like have that real life information to share. Um, but right now, like we eat meat. We pretty much eat the same shit every day, which like can like grind some people's gears. But like to me, it's like a big time saver because like I hate thinking about what to eat. Like that's like a pet peeve in my own life.
Wasting
Like
time and
wasting time
yeah,
figuring it out, like feeling like, oh, what should just figure it out and find out what works for you as far as like getting your motors concerned. And I personally don't eat dairy. I don't think dairy is like the super enemy. I don't think you should be like super heavy in it, but like it just doesn't sit well with me. So like I don't eat dairy. I will if someone has it in there. I won't be like, oh, I can't have that. It's not whatever. Like
yeah.
I'll indulge, but like yeah, outside of that, just whatever.
Hmm. Pretty balanced.
Pretty balanced,
I
yeah, for
see.
sure, for
Okay.
sure.
I feel the same way. It's like
Uh,
if I want apple pie, I'll have apple pie, but
Yeah, I
generally
will. Yeah.
healthy.
And I get a little bit worse in the winter. I know our Florida winters are pretty mild, but whatever it is, that like mentality of like, I mean, I won't even say depression because I don't think I've had a day of that in my life, but like whatever that colder temperature is, I feel like maybe it's like an internal thing from ancestry, you know,
Yeah,
maybe the
yeah.
internal hibernation of like, oh, I need to pack on this weight, I need to pack on this food or
True.
whatever. Like, so I will notice my diet kind of goes a little dip in the wintertime, but I'm fine with
Huh.
it.
Epigenetics is powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, man. Yeah.
This completely irrelevant, but
Hmm.
I kind of going back to what you were saying before. Have you heard of past life regression?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Man, I was gonna
Yeah.
we you're talking about it.
Yeah.
We have a friend,
Uh-huh.
friends, and they're like business owners, like very successful business owners,
Yep.
very like not the type of people, uh, in other words, they're very credible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so people that don't believe like they would believe them.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they're just so straightforward. You know, they're not
They
trying
don't
to
deal with the
exaggerate.
abstract, but when
Yeah,
they bring it, they're like, "Oh, legitimate source. Okay, what do you have to say?" Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And so he did it,
Uh-huh.
and he was like, I can't believe. He was explaining it, and he was saying how like someone helped him kind of work back,
Sure.
and it's so fascinating
Yeah.
how you know I believe in a higher power. I
Yeah.
believe I grew up kind of religious, but
Yeah.
like going to a Baptist church.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't understand quite how that world works, spiritual world,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's fascinating. But
Uh-huh.
I'm curious about that.
Oh yeah.
How like there's stories about
Oh,
people.
100%, dude. We've had
Yeah,
like maybe it's like our yoga background or our yoga connection because like you get to meet a lot of different people. Some that are super grounded in their space, and some that are kind of flighty and up in space, you know.
yeah.
But through that, we've met many. They all call themselves something different, like whether it's psychic or whether it's a medium or whether it's like a seasayer, you know, whatever title they give themselves. But like we've had many sit downs with these powerful people, and like I mean, say what you will about it, whether you're like of the abstract or of the linear. Like what gets me is like we've sat down with multiple different sources, and these multiple different sources have no connection to one another,
I can't wait to hear
and the
this.
similarities in which they share with us are like the same.
That's
Like
crazy.
they all tell us like the same thing about Janine and I specifically, about Janine and I together, about past lives,
Oh, that's
about like
awesome.
struggles, about who we were,
That's
about like who we
awesome.
have in like our backyard. Like they say that like you have like some people that support you like behind the scenes, like whether you
Wow.
want to say the spirit world or whatever. You have a team, you have a squad that's like with you everywhere and everything that you do, kind of helping you through your
Man.
life. And like they all like depict, like if there's like a spirit world of people standing behind me, they all depict like the same type of
So they
characters.
couldn't make that up.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's
Wow.
something to it. So
Crazy.
yeah.
So you and Janine must have known each other, like
They
from
said
the.
that we've done this many times together. Yeah, many
Wow.
times together we have done this. Yeah.
Did it feel right when you feel like familiar when you first met each other?
Oh, 100%. Like Janine, yeah, we were of the type, we met one another,
That's
we worked
awesome.
together, we went out one time, and we just never separated.
That's
And it really did
crazy.
feel like that. It felt like this is what we were supposed to do. It just like happened at the time that it was meant to. It felt like we've done it before.
That's
And like
crazy.
when we feel these past life regressions or like these mediums share these stories with us, it's just like it's weird because like I feel in a way that we can't really describe time, but I don't know if some of these memories I have are in fact memories of a past life or if they're a predisposed future that I haven't experienced yet because there's no telling, you know what I
True,
mean?
true.
Or if they're going on while I sleep. You know, I'm not one to say
Wow.
I know what's going on, but I know how I feel and what I can recall.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I met Emma, well, I first saw her on Instagram. It's funny.
Yep.
I was like scrolling, and it was weird. It was like I could like see myself going to the movies with her, and like,
Yeah, yeah.
and that was never the case with
Sure.
like normally it was just like, oh, like I think she was attractive. It was like just
Yep,
physically.
yep.
But like, yeah, I saw myself. She seemed familiar, and so like, but I had a busy day, so I closed out Instagram. I
Uh,
got in my car, and I was like, that was weird. And then something told me to kind of like open it again.
Sure.
So I opened it again, and she was still on the homepage.
Uh-huh.
So I clicked back, and I was like, something told me to like reach out. So I messaged her. I was like, how's your Monday going?
Yeah.
But like it was weird because it felt like I knew her.
Mm-hmm.
And then the first date, she had the same experience where like it felt like we knew each other.
Sure,
But we,
sure.
we literally, she said she drove home in silence, and she
Yep.
was like, what the hell was that? And I did the same
Yeah,
thing. I
I
was like,
believe it, dude. Yeah, we're
why
all
does this feel
connected. Yeah.
so crazy? How like,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah. And that's like, I mean, like, I don't hate on any upbringing, any belief system. But again, going back to me as a young one, like I remember going to a school and it wasn't a religious school, but like it was a religious town and it was a very small school. So they did talk religion in the classroom, which I mean, it was a big like faux pas and what have you. But like I just remember being a really young ass kid and like just talking to the people that were teaching the class and being like, well, wait a minute, like we believe like our town, we believe in this religion like more than the others. I was like, what about the people that live X place and they live in that religion and like are they just like up shit's creek because they've never been introduced to this other religion that's supposed to be the one religion? And they were like stumbled and they were like, well, more or less they just said, well, yeah, they're up shit's creek. And like from that early age I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't think that's a god or a belief or a power that like I would put all my trust in, saying
that's
that like
true.
there's one and
Yeah,
only. I think it's just a different interpretation of like something that we none of us can describe, but we can all feel, you know.
yeah.
So like, so I've been very kind of lucid with that. Yeah.
That's good that you're aware and
Oh
question things.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a questioner. Yeah.
Man, I don't understand how like people feel like energy, like
Yeah.
not like intuitive energy, but like
Mhm.
potential path energy.
100%.
Like
Yeah.
I met throughout my life, I met like a handful of people,
Mhm.
and they would all tell me things, and it's crazy because like one of them in particular, everything she said came true.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like
Yeah.
29 or 30 at the time, and she
Yep.
was like, "Oh, one day you're gonna work with your older brother," and then recently I worked with him
Yeah.
very
Yes.
closely.
Yes.
She said when he was in his either late 30s or early 40s, and he was late 30s,
Uh huh.
and she said like she was telling me to focus on this business venture because that's gonna be the one that gets traction, blah blah
Yep.
blah, like and stuff about my relationship at the time, and
Mhm.
it's so crazy how like
Yeah.
if they can feel a potential path,
Totally.
there must be a footpath there
Yeah,
laid out.
and why, and like those things, those I'll call them signs. They might be a person, they might be an instance. Like if you get rid and shed all the shit that like distracts you or weighs you down, like you're more open to like not only interpret but receive and notice
Yeah,
those signs that are everywhere. Yeah, this is a weird game, but it's so fun. Yeah.
yeah. But then I'm curious,
Uh-huh.
if like we have free will,
Yep.
but then there's like a path we're supposed to take.
Mm.
So when like in a sense when bad things happen, that's
Yeah.
just other people acting, poorly
Sure.
with their free will, and that affects other people on their
Yeah.
path. Is that kind of how would you explain that?
Like it's I'm weird with that one because like a lot of people will say that like of the people that believe in reincarnation and what have you, like that we choose our path before we're born and then it's like super laid out. Like I'm not naysaying that idea or principle. It's just there's nothing in me that validates it or wants to or even knows to believe that. Like I can't guarantee you that we are destined for one linear path
Yeah.
and that we decided it before our birth because I have nothing
Hmm.
in me that like resonates with that. I can't argue that it's not that way, you know what I mean? But like regardless of that, I don't try to like nitpick and figure out like, well, is this my path? Like if I don't do this, like of course it would be the right thing because there's only one way to go. I just take it instance by instance.
True.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? And coming back to that, like, how do you play your game? Like, through the
I
honesty and
see.
the fun. Like, so, like, when something arises, when something happens, it's like, well, I'm here to play. I'm here to roll the dice.
I
Like,
see.
what game
I
do I want
see.
to play? And be glad for those. Like, when you said, like, when something bad happens to you, was it intended to be that? Was it just the timeline where it's like, oh, it's whatever time and whatever date that, like, this bad thing was destined to happen to you? I
I
don't scratch
see.
the hairs or whatever about, like, when and why. It's just like I address that, oh, this happened. Like, what am I going to do about it? And be
I
glad
see.
that it happened because, like, if it happens once and I deal with it in the right way, I'll never make that mistake again or I'll
I
never
see.
react that same way again. And just like,
That makes
I try to
sense.
only focus on the things that I know to be true. And the only thing I know to be true is how do I feel, in
That
that
makes
moment.
sense.
Yeah.
So then, in other words, like we probably have multiple, depending on what we choose, multiple paths.
Sure.
But then, people make bad decisions, and it could influence others on their.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just it's a
Huh.
little bit of a crapshoot, but I even go as far as to say like, like people always like raise their eyebrows at me to this, but like there's so much in this like spiritual or religious or just like powerful realm that we can't describe, but like all I know is my internal view and my perspective, and like I can't really speak outside of that. Like
That's
I'm not
true.
even convinced, and like this is where people raise their eyebrows at me. I know I'm a body. I know I'm in this person. I know I have this consciousness that I share collectively with everyone around me. No one can convince me that when I'm gone, the rest of y'all just go away.
Hmm.
Like you cannot tell me that that's not the case.
That's
You know what
true.
I mean? And
That's
I'm
true.
not saying that is the case, but like when you can't have those definitive arguments, like everything is like just what fun and what belief and what do you enjoy about like your
That's true.
daily life? Yeah.
Man, so definitely deep conversation. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that side of things is fascinating.
Yeah. Oh, I go on that all day. Yeah, yeah.
I'm getting towards the
Yep.
end. This is kind of a fun question back with the fitness section. If you could do one exercise for the rest of your life, and I know from like a trainer point of view,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, you don't want imbalances, so
Yeah,
it's hard to
I get it.
choose.
I
Like
get it.
there's
Yeah.
only like a handful to choose from,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
what would it be if you could choose one
If I could
exercise?
do one, yeah,
Yeah.
like
Like either from a favorite point of view. I should probably separate these
Yeah, yeah.
because from a functional point of view,
Functionality and
yeah.
favorite. Yeah, 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 sure,
If
sure.
you're just doing bench, you're gonna be
Yeah,
like,
yeah. um, Man, I feel like functionality, like, because there's so many different ways you can mix it up and varieties of the form. I'd probably do pull-ups.
okay,
You know, like because it's hanging, you can
yeah,
engage your core a little bit different. You can lengthen your spine. Yeah, there's a lot of benefit to that grip strength. Um, for fun and kind of like functionality, I might say like box jumps. I
hmm,
might say that because you can get a squat on there, you can
yeah,
get it like lift up, you can like have the reflex of like falling off the box to the ground, and I think
sure,
that would be like I'm a jumper by heart, so like I
functional,
think that's like a good thing that I enjoy doing. I can jump pretty high, but also like the functionality of it, like yeah. If it were
okay,
two, it'd be that. It would be
box jumps.
squat box jumps and pull ups, but
It's a good combination. Okay, I
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. What are some non-negotiable habits? We only have about two or three left, but
Yeah.
what are some non-negotiable habits that help you stay productive and focused?
Mm, Probably sleep.
Sleep.
Yeah, sleep for sure. Because like I've lived a life where like as like I think I was an early 20 person. You like you get away with a little bit less sleep, and
Oh
you like you
yeah.
try to push that. You're enjoying your life a little bit too much. Not too much, but you know what I mean. So like a non-negotiable for me is sleep, but also like going back to the diet. Like I'm the person. Like I know my metabolism. I know my blood type. I know all the things that I work well with. In moments, I'm not good hungry. Like I know a
Okay.
lot of people do the fasting route, and I will like tinker around with it and play around with it and know my body in those situations. But like staying well fed and sleep.
I see. It's good that you're aware enough to know that.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. 100%. Yeah.
What's the best piece of advice you've received from a mentor or role model?
Yeah. Right on. This one, going back to my dad, like going back to again early adolescence, like in those sitcoms, you used to watch like the parents might be dropping off their kids at like the school, and they're dropping them off. All the kids are standing out front of the school, and like the kid gets embarrassed when the mom's like, "I love you so much," and they just like
Yeah,
they share
yeah.
that love word, and like they always make a big thing of it. When I was younger, I just used to think like not much of it in the early going because like my dad, like he would tell us he loved us and he would hug us, like nothing wrong with it. But like one saying that he would always have toward us when we were leaving to go out for the night, if we were older, if he was dropping us off somewhere, if it was the day before or leading up to school, whenever he'd part ways with us, he'd always just be like, "Yo, like be cool."
Hmm.
He would always say, "Be cool." And like in the early, I was just like, "Oh, like it's innocent. Like it's just like whatever. Like yeah, of course, be cool." But then like there's layers to that. You know what I mean? Like he was saying it to us because like it's not embarrassing. Like I love you, but it means the same from him. But like
Uh,
it was be cool in the way of like yeah, like he wanted us to be ourselves and unique and still like be cool in the awesome way,
yeah.
but like also like the yo be cool.
Like not get
You know what
upset
I
with
mean? Like
things,
not get
not take it.
upset, like no issues, no worries, like be cool. So like it was like all encompassing
Wow.
and it became like a big thing as the years went on for me to
Huh.
interpret. And like that was like powerful.
That is powerful. 'Cause, yeah, it's almost like don't let things bother you.
Yep.
Be true to yourself.
Yep.
Enjoy the moment.
Yep.
Man, I
Yeah, there's a
like
lot
that.
to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
It's gonna be a challenge coming up with a title for this episode. It could be so many different things. It could be
Right,
like be
right.
cool. It could be
Yep, yep.
man. Usually, Riverside, the platform has
Uh-huh.
like an AI
Sure.
app, and
Oh, and they'll like
I'll take the summary. Well, they'll
uh-huh.
give me titles, but like I'll take the summary and then I'll use ChatGPT and I'll be
Yeah.
like, come up with titles, and then I'll kind of tweak it.
Uh-huh.
But I'm curious to see what
Curious
it
to
comes
see
up.
what they come back with.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's pretty good.
Uh,
It's last question is, what's next for you? How are you going to continue pushing your own boundaries in personal fitness,
yeah,
related?
yeah. Honestly, man, like, so we have the yoga studio, we have the core gym, and Janine and I do like international retreats. So
Oh,
like we got this big trifecta. We just got back from Costa Rica. It took 12 people to Costa Rica for like an 8-day yoga retreat, and we want to keep on doing a little bit of more of everything.
okay.
Like even here at the core, we're expanding on the backyard space, getting like a 30 by 72-foot turf area back there and some squat racks and all the fun
Nice.
stuff for an outdoor gym. And upcoming, like less than a month away here at the core, we're doing that core combat competition,
Nice.
which you know that back in February we did the physical 50 competition that was 50 individuals competing against one another.
Oh yeah.
This one's going to be a team challenge where it's 4 members going head to head against one another throughout the whole half day event.
That's
So like
awesome.
coming up with the game plan and the strategy and the different events for that is really cool. But really, like, now that we have this baseline covered, and now that we have like our routine and we've adjusted to opening up all the businesses, and like our diet and our gym space is locked in, like it's really just like giving more to the people. Like we created the space because we wanted a big community vibe. So like really taking the feedback of the local community, understanding what they want more of, and really just trying to offer that, because like we're so high and we're so happy with what we've gotten to, that like we would just want to bring everyone else up to that level, and like however that means
Like
is, like, we're here for it.
that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll tag, the core
Oh,
and
for
all
sure.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. Yeah,
Really,
I've been waiting to do it for a
that was
long time.
awesome.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
much good stuff,
Yeah,
man.
right on.
That concludes episode 32.
Yeah.